PVC gloves. I got a good feeling about this one, too. Which one of these are you... What?
I feel good about that thermoformed glass.
Wow. I'm looking forward to fire trucks.
Today on How It's Made. Wind generators. Putting a spin on renewable energy.
There's the pun right off the bat.
PVC gloves. Giving laborers a helping hand.
There's the pun.
Thermoformed glass. Art that's fragile but functional.
That's
And
not
fire
even a
trucks.
pun.
We're pumped to show you how they make
Pumped. There we go. I'm disappointed on thermoformed glass.
Wind generators harness the power of the wind to produce electricity.
Oh,
As
see,
the
I
turbine's
misinterpreted wind
blades
generator. I
revolve,
thought they
drive a
generated
rotor
wind.
that generates power. This can charge
Oh
a set of
no,
batteries
that's
and
called a
feed
fan, Will.
transmission grid. Wind power is a renewable energy source that doesn't pollute. This type of wind generator is a
Yeah, it does. You gotta
recreational
build all
model
that shit
designed
for
to
it.
power a boat or cottage with up to 500 watts of electricity.
Oh
To
man,
make the
500
power,
watts.
They lay a template on a plank of western cedar. A rot-resistant
What about eastern
wood
cedar?
That's flexible and durable.
What about
yet
middle
lightweight
cedar?
Enough for the slightest
Then it just won't
breeze
work.
To set it spinning. After tracing, they drill a hole at each end and in the middle. Then remove the template and do a rough cut using a bandsaw. Then they put the template back, using those holes they drilled to align and secure it in place. Using a router this time, they do a precision cut. The plank of wood now has the contour of a propeller. The next step is to form the profile. To do that, they bolt the wood onto the
And this is one of those
right
things
side
that's
of
just
a
one guy
specially
doing the same
designed
thing.
device called a propeller carving
Yeah.
machine.
Like,
On
there's
the
no
left
assembly
side
line. It's
is
just
a model
this guy does
propeller.
everything.
After adjusting
man
the
is a
model to the
craftsman.
proper angle, they start to cut.
Unlike Yusuf and Marco, who uses his machines instead of his just his bare hands, though.
Runs over the model,
Yeah.
it guides
See,
a shaper
Yusuf can do this
to
with his
carve
fingernails.
the wood exactly like the model.
He just scratches at it.
Yeah. Kind of like Will Smith and Hancock.
I have not seen that movie since it came out, and I don't get that reference.
Oh,
It
there's a part in the
takes
movie where
about
he
8
shaves with his
passes to get
fingernails.
the propeller's
Oh, really?
profile
Yeah.
just right. You can see the profile well once they've marked and cut off the excess on the ends. One
I
side
can see the
is
profile
flat,
now.
while the other is curved, like an airplane's wing. Now they widen the hole in the middle of the propeller and sand off the ridges left by the carving.
This is
using
getting
a
suggestive.
low-pressure inflatable drum sander, the only type flexible enough to really get into the curves.
Now this is getting really suggestive.
It's really
Check the
very
balancing.
suggestive.
Watch how a mere penny can throw off this perfect equilibrium. Finally, a
Equilibrium, you
coat of
Canadian?
Yeah.
epoxy paint,
Totally
the kind
equilibrium.
used on the hulls of boats.
At least we're watching
Now they
American
assemble
How
the
It's Made.
alternator, the
European How
component
It's
that
Made.
generates electricity when the
Every
propeller
time they would say
spins.
aluminium, I
They
would have to
wrap
cringe.
insulation around what's called
Didn't
a
bother me
proportional
much.
electronic regulator.
Oh, it bothers me.
And install
It's just
it
so not
along
used to
with
it.
wiring into the alternator's casing. This regulator controls.
They're not
the
going to show us how all this
electrical
shit's
charge
made,
and
just how
current.
it's put together. All right.
The propeller
Well, see, they
spins
assume
this
we already know
rotor
how
shaft,
superconductors work.
creating an electrical charge that
That's
sends
a strong
current
assumption
from
to
the
make.
alternator to the batteries. Once the
Well, they assume we're
casing's
educated,
bolted
too.
shut, they mount a cooling fan on the shaft's protruding axle. This fan
How's the cooling
will
fan
expel
made?
the heat all that spinning generates. Next, they assemble the parts that
With
make
every
up what's
with
called
every
the
part
lolly
we
shaft,
learn how to make,
the
it's only
axis
more
on
things
which the
we need to
propeller
learn.
sits. This axis enables the propeller to pivot toward the direction
How
of the
did he
wind
make that
without
screwdriver?
twisting the
How did he
wires
make that
run to
flannel
the
shirt?
batteries. Finally, they connect the wires from the lolly shaft to the alternator. This
The
rubber
lolly
cover
shaft?
protects a connection from the
Oh,
outside.
This
God,
is
this
making
has
me
gotten-
uncomfortable.
Now
This
they
has gotten
assemble
all
what's
kinds
called
of
the propeller
suggestive.
governor, a key component that prevents the
I don't want
propeller
any
from
shafts anywhere
overspinning
near
and
lollies.
breaking down in high winds. When the propeller spins too fast, the centrifugal force pulls on these springs. This
Mother Nature will be
activates
like,
the
slow
braking
down?
flaps, generating drag to slow the propeller down. Again, precision balancing is critical. Otherwise, you'll have a damaging vibration.
Oh god, it's
After
gotten so
applying
suggestive.
The manufacturer's decal, they mount the propeller's rudder onto the back end of the wind generator's frame. On the other end goes the alternator, followed by the propeller and propeller governor, both painted black to protect the waterproof coating underneath from the sun's damaging UV rays.
I wonder how much one of those costs and if it's really worth it. If it saves you money in the end, because that seems expensive.
Polyvinyl
I think
chloride,
solar panels might
commonly
be
known as
more
PVC,
practical, but then again, that
is
seems
a
more like something
durable
you'd use during
material
a
similar
storm.
to plastic.
When solar or a cloudy day, when
gloves
a
are
solar panel would
waterproof,
be
even
not
chemical
good.
proof. All kinds of laborers wear
think you
them,
need to have both.
from commercial fishermen to oil refinery workers. PVC gloves are comfortably flexible, yet sturdy. Production begins at the cutting
I don't know if
station
that was a pun.
with stacked
I don't think
sheets
so. Nope.
of cotton flannel. Using a hydraulic cutting machine and a series
Well,
of
how was the
dies,
flannel made?
workers slice through some 20 layers
Man, those are
in
some
one
thick
fell
hands.
swoop, cutting out the pieces required to make cotton gloves. Those gloves will either be sold as is or used as linings for PVC gloves.
And what about the leftovers? No, tell me about the leftovers! Do you make more flannel
The
with that?
next step is to sew the pieces together.
Well, how was the sewing machine made?
We need to seek more knowledge.
It takes a speedy seamstress just 30 seconds per hand.
Isn't seamstress only a term used for women? Wouldn't that be a seamster?
Next, they sew on a wrist made of a stretchy cotton and lycra knit. This seamstress works the
Is this
wrist
Well, that's a
machine
woman.
so quickly.
It
We had to ask
was
her
a
to
woman, I
slow
think it's
down
now
so that we
a...
can
It was a
actually
man,
see
now
what
it's a
she's
woman.
doing.
Okay. She's like, here, I'll do it slow for you assholes.
Throughout the sewing
I
process,
see that you can't
these
understand
cotton
my
gloves
skill.
have been inside out. This next machine turns them right side in, transferring them onto a heated hand form.
I feel like I could watch this machine for days and not get bored. It's literally just a glove transferer.
So
The
you'd be able to do
machine
this
then
job then?
presses each
It's
glove
yeah, I could
onto the
totally do
form.
this job because it's entertaining to me. It's just a windmill of hands. Metal hands they fold gloves onto.
Gloves drop down to a conveyor belt below.
It looks like it's shitting the
transports
gloves
them to a
out.
worker
It
who
isn't?
inspects them and pairs them up left and right.
Right here, we can make a groan.
Elsewhere in the factory, meanwhile, workers prepare the PVC solution. The recipe varies according to the glove model, but generally consists of coloring and 5 to 8 different chemicals. They add an antibacterial
But those are trade secrets, we can't tell you what they are.
solution to combat odor from hand perspiration. To apply the PVC, workers slip a metal form into the thumb.
Well, how is the metal
lining,
form made?
then put the
Come
line
on.
into a thumbless hand form. If the hand and
Wait
thumb
a
are
minute!
in one piece, it will be difficult to remove the stiff PVC glove afterward without tearing.
So why are
The
there just
linings
sometimes
go
red
through
gloves?
What's called the singer, a propane flame that burns off any dust or loose threads.
God, this seems like something from a horror movie. Imagine you're stuck on that conveyor belt about to go through the... What is this machine called?
I don't think it has a name. I think it just...
No, she just called it
Then
what it
it's
was.
into the
Oh.
PVC bath. The
I missed it
basin of
then.
liquid PVC moves upward, coating the liners.
God, there's so much drip. There's
Like
so
the
much.
corn.
As the basin descends, the excess drips off.
Oh, yeah!
Then the gloves go for a
Oh, I
spin
can't handle
under
it.
infrared lamps for 45 seconds. The spinning spreads the PVC
I imagine this is the funnest
uniformly
part of the
so
gloves.
that it doesn't accumulate on the
Look
tips
at
of the
them.
fingers forming
Whee!
clumps. The heat ensures it dries evenly. After a second coat,
Oh,
the
come on, you
gloves
just
pass
spun it
through
again.
a propane-fired furnace for about 20 minutes at 190 degrees Celsius.
They get to
Then
spin some
cool the
more.
chamber for 5
Do they
minutes.
even need to spin, or is that
For
just for
glove
fun?
models with extra strong grip, they blow PVC chips onto the first
That
coat
does
of
not
PVC
look safe.
while it's still wet. When the gloves go through the furnace, the heat embeds the chips. After cooling, the gloves are dried and cured and ready to handle a hard day's work.
Okay, that's
It's literally the grip is just and it's ready to handle. That was definitely
yeah. I was gonna
fun.
say that has to
Decorative
count.
glass objects can be blown or thermoformed.
But yeah, the PVC is for
two
grip.
very different glass-making techniques. In glass blowing, the artisan shapes hot glass by rolling it and blowing air into
I
it.
enjoyed that last one.
Thermoforming is more of a mold.
I loved
just
every
too
time it
cool.
looked like they
Better
were
suited
hands
for
that were
making
celebrating
flat
something.
objects. When you look at these magnificent pieces, it's hard to believe they begin as run-of-the-mill window glass. It comes in ready-made panels.
But
in
how are the
thicknesses
window glass
ranging
pieces
from
made?
3 to 10 millimeters.
How is the glass made?
The first step is to measure the overall dimensions of the
How is that
glass
square
panel,
made?
then divide it into pieces, each slightly larger than the object it will become. They'll turn
One
this
of these
panel
days we'll
into
see some
large
workers
decorative
wearing
plates.
PVC
So
gloves.
they
We'll be
divide
like,
it
finally,
into
we know what
3
something is
squares,
made.
each about
Or we know how
35
something was made.
centimeters in diameter.
We don't have to ask any more questions.
They place each square over a paper pattern. Using a glass cutter, they score the shape of the plate. Then they
that's what it
apply
looks like if I
pressure
try
with
and draw a
rubber
perfect
mallet
circle.
to
It just
separate
turns
the
out like
glass
that.
along the score line.
Well, see, the thing about drawing a perfect circle is that you're not supposed to draw it in like one stroke.
They cut away the excess, breaking it
Well,
off
as you
with
know,
a few gentle taps.
You just draw the face, then erase the fancy bits. As SpongeBob
Right.
taught us all.
Yeah.
Now they position the plate-shaped glass over a drawing and begin the artwork. First, tracing the outline.
Okay, this art job seems like I could do it. This does not seem that difficult.
Well, see, you have to know like when to put the brush in the paint, and you have to know how to draw a line.
Oh, now she's
they
just
embellish
freeballing
the
it.
design and fill in the details.
You also need to know about lips.
They use enamel paints
Well, all I would really need to do is
specifically
watch how
designed
to
for
draw a
painting on
beautiful woman,
glass.
and I would just know.
Well, yeah.
Once the brushwork's
Shameless
done,
plug.
they use a paint gun to apply
Well, hey,
the
you did it.
background colors and shading.
Paint gun is surprisingly
The glass has
unlike
been cut
paintball
and
gun.
decorated, but it's still perfectly flat.
It's more like an airbrush,
So the
isn't it?
final step is
Yeah.
to mold it using extreme heat, hence the term thermoformed. The mold they use is made of fireproof materials designed to withstand high temperatures inside the oven, known as a kiln. They
A kiln.
carefully lay the glass
That's a
over
great
on.
the
name
mold.
for an oven.
They mold
Canadian
several
lady,
different
it's
pieces at the
kiln.
same time.
And
In
she's the one who
the
goes a
intense
boat
heat
too,
of the
right?
kiln, the glass will
I'm
melt
not
and
sure.
take on the exact shape of the mold, right down to the most intricate textural detail. These small pieces of glass will become the paint pots
Wait, that's
on
glass?
this glass replica of an artist's palette. It takes an hour and a
Why are
half
you putting
for
the little
kiln
pyramids on there?
temperature to
Apparently they're
climb to
glass.
a
I thought it was.
scorching
I straight thought it was clay.
843 degrees
Why?
Celsius.
Why is
At
that
peak
there?
temperature, they open up briefly to make sure that everything is progressing well. The
Are they
glass
killing
at
in
this
there?
phase should be the consistency of maple taffy and glowing bright red. If
What
it
is maple
they can
taffy?
close
Well,
the
how would you know
kiln
it's the
and
consistency
begin
of
the
taffy
cooling
unless you
phase.
start fucking with it?
6 hours later, the glass pieces have hardened into the shape and texture of their respective molds.
Don't drop it.
I
These
swear to God, Mark, if
plates
you
and
break it.
spoon rests and other pieces are cool enough now to come out of the kiln. The beauty of thermoformed
So yeah, those pieces of glass are just
lies
there
in the
because-
striking combination of
Just for
transparency
design, I
and
guess.
vibrant color. Add to that the endless shape possibilities, and you've got truly functional art.
That was pretty boring. No puns.
Yeah.
There are different types of fire trucks. Pumpers
Okay.
hook up to fire hydrants, boost the pressure, then shoot the water out through hoses.
Yeah.
Ladder trucks elevate firefighters on either a ladder or a platform.
Uh-huh.
Rescue trucks have tools to cut through metal and clear obstructions.
Right. No pun!
I'm pretty sure all fire trucks have all of those things.
Yeah, I
Early
think so.
firefighters couldn't do much more than pass buckets of water from man to man.
Or throw rocks
The
at the fire.
1720s saw the arrival of wagons carrying water tanks and hand pumps. Those newfangled pumps could spew out an impressive 60 gallons of water per minute. About what you get from 2 garden
Oh
hoses.
God, look at that broken
The
leg on the
first
horse.
horse-drawn fire trucks with steam-powered pumps went into
Man,
service
today is
in
not a good day for the
1852.
Etch-a-Sketch.
Gas-powered trucks
Oh,
replaced them
God,
in
pun
the
lady, you're
early
slipping.
1900s.
What is that hose?
As you see here, this is the fire truck with the snake extension.
This pumper truck can deliver 6,000 liters of water per minute. Mechanical engineers usually custom design fire trucks to suit the particular needs of the fire department placing the order. The truck's body
God,
is
that
made
truck must be a
entirely
nightmare to
from
dimension.
4mm thick sheets of marine-grade aluminum.
How do you place an order on a fire truck?
Following
Hi,
the
I'd like to
technical
order for
drawings,
delivery. I
workers
want a
cut the
big
aluminum
red
panels
truck
to
with
the
a
sizes
ladder and a
required.
pump.
Notching
Oh, and extra
certain
cheese.
corners at a 90-degree angle. Workers weld the pieces together to form what's known as the crew cab. The crew cab not only
Oh,
carries
wow,
the
what a
firefighters,
badass, just
it
flopping
also
the flap
houses
down
the
on his
control
helmet.
panel for the water
Or on his
system.
mask. Didn't use his hands or anything. He
Use
just
it
did a
con-
sweet nod.
Please, Yusuf can do that with his teeth.
Meanwhile, other
That sounds
workers
painful.
measure and then cut pieces of aluminum.
Marco
to
can do it
build
with his breath.
subframe
Just
that
don't
will
let him brush his
support the
teeth for a
crew cab
day.
From underneath. They weld the parts together.
He just does that all the time. He's just a fucking show off. Look, he just did it again.
He does.
Workers leave a gap of about
What a
a
fucking
centimeter and a
asshole.
half to enable water to drain down. They line the storage compartments with aluminum sheets, using a sander to make textured circles on the smooth surface. This pattern will camouflage the scratches that moving equipment in and out will inevitably create.
Who
They
cares?
use a machine called a press brake to bend the sheets to the
Well, see, the
required shape.
firefighters want the engines to
Then,
feel
using
pretty.
what's known as a punch press, they cut holes for the built-in lights, the door handles.
A punch press sounds
and
like a
the
very
various control
violent way
knobs.
of lifting weights.
Workers now assemble the pieces and make any necessary adjustments before painting rather
I
than
can
after
punch 340.
to avoid damaging the finish. After this fine-tuning, they'll disassemble everything and send the parts to the paint department. After that, they'll put it all carefully back together. The full-scale assembly can now begin, starting with the water pump. It arrives here ready-made from the supplier.
Well, how was that made?
Next comes the crew cab. This one isn't for the pumper, but rather for a
Again,
yellow
this really
rescue
isn't,
vehicle.
like, for the ones that are big assemblies like this, it's just not how
The
it's made, it's
pipes
how
that
it's
lead
assembled.
To and from the water
Yeah.
pump go into a
It's just
threading
like how,
machine.
like, it said, how is a single engine airplane made?
The
And it was just like,
pipes are
well, first you
part
get all of the
galvanized
required
steel,
parts and put it
part
together,
stainless
done.
steel.
Yeah, it's like first you get the engine, and it's like,
Once they're threaded, they're ready to be screwed into the pump's water outlet.
oh, this is getting real suggestive.
The drive shaft, that long piece coming from the transmission,
Yep,
doesn't
suggestive.
just perform its usual job of turning the rear axle when the truck is in motion. It also powers the water pump when the truck is parked fighting a fire.
Man, the euphemisms.
This control box runs the fire truck's electrical system, including the flashing emergency lights. Each wire is color-coded, number-coded, and function-coded.
God, that looks like a fucking nightmare.
And an hour later, Mark came in,
Workers
fucked
run
with
the
all the
wires from the
wires.
box to the
He's
control
switched
panel
every
in the
single
The
one.
siren turns on the hose. The hose
Then
stops
they
the
hook
truck.
up the odometer, speedometer, and other
Turning
dashboard
left with the steering
indicators.
wheel extends the ladder.
Turning
They
right with the
install
steering
water
wheel blows
pressure
the truck up.
gauges. Adapters for
Creating
connecting the
another
hoses
fire.
to the water system. And
Meaning, so
pressure
the
release
only
valves
the
for
only kind of
adjusting
fire
water
that this
pressure.
truck could fight is ones on
Lo and
NASCAR
behold,
tracks.
A shiny new fire truck built to a department's
Yes.
exact specifications. Only there's one thing the client didn't have to specify: that it be painted fire engine red.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Fire truck red is just an official
If you
color.
have any comments
Yeah.
about the show, or if you'd like to suggest topics for future shows, drop us a line at www.howitismade.net.
It bothers me that the website is how it is made and not how it's made. But I guess that's just to avoid the
How It's Made
apostrophe.
crew vehicle is courtesy
Rather-
of
Okay, I
Subaru
stopped caring
Canada.
about
Assembly
Subaru
for the
Canada
police
for
bike's
after the first time. I'm
NYPD
moving on
debut
to the
in
next
Jeopardy.
one.
Coming up next.
Yeah, I don't think I really care much about American Chopper.